auto-renew, can it be canceled anytime?
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, the power is in the hands of our customer. So just access the Dito app, go to manage subscription, and then click unsubscribe. Easy.
Thank you, Ms. Eve.
Ano yun?
There's a next question.
Unsubscribe sa ano?
Yung auto-pay.
Akala ko sa competition.
Di ba yung tanong, unsubscribe to competition din? Dito app natin.
There's one question here as well. It's a follow-up question also from Claire.
Yep.
I have one scholar who is in elementary who enjoys the 99 Dito promo, good for 1 month. I load his number every month with this promo so he can join their once a week online class. Since it's Dito's first anniversary, will you be offering a more affordable package? So if ever the allocated data from the 99 promo was fully used in less than a month, I can load his number with something cheaper. So please bear in mind, this is her personal scholar. So sorry daw, medyo nagtitipid siya, gusto lang niyang makatulong sa estudyante. So the question is really, will we be offering something cheaper to augment the 99?
Short answer, yes. Please do watch out in our Facebook page, in our social media. We will be coming out with what we call our sachet pack. Hindi ko pa pwedeng sabihin kasi kung kailan nakatingin sila sa akin. So, it will come out definitely because we would like to also offer our customers the choices depending on their needs. So we'll come out with that. It's just that we are going to pace our launches. But it will be coming out soon. Just watch out in our social media announcements.
Thank you, Ms. Okay. Another question. Is it possible for Dito to be the first telecom to offer only calls to all networks? Will this be in your future plan?
Only call. Good question. Pwede naman, di ba?
Pwede.
Pwede naman.
Alam, siguro, kaya medyo nag-aano tayo pagka-unli. Ako personally, parang yung unli kasi parang nagagamit siya na optimum. For example, if we do unli call, some, maybe not all, will abuse that, will abuse that feature and will affect not only dito but also affect the whole telecommunications industry, no? Magkakaroon ng ng congestion, hindi lang dito kasi kahit na ano pang gawin mo dahil unli, kahit hindi ka kailangan tumawag, gagamitin mo dahil unli at libre. But that's why we can offer value for money. Sabi ko nga, yung strategy ng rollout is to blanket our coverage with 4G. So, after 5 years, our intention is to deliver the mandate that we have committed to government na more than 84% population coverage. So, the blanket of that network is 4G. As far as 5G is concerned, this will be prioritized to areas that would require the service. No? Kasi in sparsely populated areas, yung services ng 4G is enough to have a very good customer experience already. You will note that at the start of our rollout, a commercial launch, yung 4G namin minsan umaabot ng 100 Mbps yung speed niya. No? So, in sparsely populated areas, this is enough. This is enough to have a very good customer experience. areas that would require higher network performance, we will do the 5G so we can offer faster network speed for those users that have applications that would require this speed.
Okay, just as a follow-up, Sir Jenboy. So, what is our target for 5G rollout nationwide? And where are we now in terms of that?
What is our target?
Yes, for 5G rollout.
Uh, Fundamentally, we cannot achieve the 55 Mbps minimum average broadband speed without 5G. If we go by just having a blanket of 4G, we will not be able to achieve that. That's why we need a 5G network to complement our 4G network. As I've said, essentially, we wanted our 5G to be prioritized in densely populated areas, particularly NCR, Metro Cebu, Metro Davao, Southern Luzon, some parts of Northern Luzon, some parts of the Visayas, and some parts of the Bicol region. But sa tingin ko, ano lang, I would be able to commit that in areas that would require the 5G service, we will be there. Kasi nga, sabi ko nga, sparsely populated areas, 4G is enough to deliver a very good customer experience.
What about international roaming services, Sir Jenboy?
Right now we have international roaming services. Siguro kaya lang hindi na-highlight because of the COVID situation. Wala pang masyadong bumibiyahe internationally, but we have. Wala pa lang sigurong nag-request for roaming, but we have that service already.
So just to add, there is a service, but we haven't commercially launched that. So that is also part of our roadmap for this year. So again, we will be deploying all these other services as we move on in 2022. We're just starting with the services that most people will actually enjoy. So that's why we started with our data, and then calls and SMS, of course, and we also just recently launched our 5G home Wi-Fi, right? So it's part of the pipeline for commercially launching, but the service is definitely gonna be available.
Okay. Thanks, Ms. Eve. Thanks, Jenboy. I'd like to open the floor to those who are attending live our event today. Are there any questions from the crowd? Go ahead, sir.
Hello, afternoon. Ted Claudio from whatsapp.ph. My question goes to Ms. EJ. Being an expatriate or OFW also myself for 27 years in the IT industry, working in the Middle East, medyo nakaka-relate din ako ron sa sinabi niyong culture shock. Especially sa industry. So when you came back here, ano yung pinaka-major culture shock in terms of the industry ang na-discover nyo? And what were the steps that you took to overcome it or to address it?
Okay. Sir, welcome back to Philippines also. That's a very good question actually. Culture shock. Kasi if I were to look at other cultures, there are a few comments or observations that I see. One is digitalization. If I were to look at digitalization back in Indonesia, I would say they're a bit more advanced than us because from the top, meaning leadership team of country up to the lowest person, they're really already into digitalization. So I think that is something that we should also embrace as a nation. That's why us in Dito, one of our key imperative is also to be digital first. That's why, as much as possible, when I talk about our products and services, it would really be about digitalization, going to the app. You know, we would really want to empower our customers to really go into digitalization because it really depends on what they really want for themselves. Siguro second, as an expat or OFW, probably one of the key things that I realize is parang if I were to compare other countries to us, especially Indonesia, kasi yun yung reason ko, I don't know sir kung saan po kayo for the last 27 years. Kaya kung sinabi kanina about that sense of nationalism and sense of pride of being Pinoy. I feel kasi here, I don't feel that same anymore when I was younger. Back in the, university days, parang makibaka, ganyan, diba? There's really that sense of being Filipino. Parang now, I don't really feel that from a culture perspective. So I guess a lot of things, they're geared towards more Korean, compared to other countries, like Indonesia, for example, from a culture perspective, even if they enjoy all the perks of Western, pero you still feel talaga the sense of nationalism, the sense of pride of being in. So here, that's why in dito, I really, as a personal stake to me, sir, I really want to be part of that drive towards nationalism. Kaya in all of our communications, we really want to highlight being Filipino, celebrating the Filipino spirit, the Filipino creativity. Kasi mas magaling naman talaga tayo, di ba, sir? Kaya nga we can actually excel in many other countries. Pero I guess that's something that we can drive. I mean, we are in a situation, especially with Tito, we have a platform to do that because we have the capacity to reach so many different people, right? And really promote and inculcate, again, the love for country, the love of being a Filipino. Because we are really way above. Sir, if I were to also compare, we're the race that could actually adapt to anything. Kahit anong hirap, we will be persistent. And I'm not talking only about myself as OFW. Ako, I work for a corporation, right? Pero if you were to look at OFWs, the real ones who are sacrificing themselves, I've seen that. And they will do anything for their family. So I want us to come back home to that situation and really be more proud of being Filipino. So I guess, sir, those are the two key highlights,
So
I would say.
hindi na makibaka.
Hindi na makibaka. Ano na tayo?
Pakidito.
Okay dito. Yan. Yan. So yun, sir. Thank you so much for the question.
Telecoms industry. Ano po yung sa palagay niyong biggest challenge na dapat nating i-address na present dito sa Pilipinas na hindi present like in Indonesia?
Hindi present, sir?
Mga shortcomings here sa Philippines compared sa Indonesia.
So I guess one of the key items that I also raised earlier is yung pricing talaga. If we were to look at pricing, price per gigabyte, before dito yan. Before dito, mahal po talaga compared sa Indonesia, yung presyo natin. So So this is something that we could really address so that we could give more value to our customers. Ang second po is our level of service. So quality of service, speed of service is also something that we could really also address as a nation. That's why there really is a need for digitalization. Again, it's not about just digitalization, but to really enable fast delivery. Like example, when you do online in other countries, uh, the standard is already within 3 hours you can deliver something, right? Standard na yun, and you're probably charged probably equivalent of mga 30 pesos ganyan. You know, you can get something whatever you order online within 2 to 3 hours. So this is also our aim. Tayo kasi, if I were to look at, di ba, the standard pa ngayon, mga 24 to 48 hours, ganyan, 72 hours. Pero other countries have already moved to really embracing digitalization within 2 to 3 hours for a very minimal fee, and sometimes even free. You can get whatever you ordered for within 2 to 3 hours. Parang norm na siya, sir. So ganun po yung I think where I think we can still go as a nation.
Thank you very much po, and welcome back.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Salamat po,
Ted.
sir.
So do we have any other questions from our guests today? Go, Bob.
Hi, magandang hapon po. Bob Reyes. Sir, tanong ko lang, ano po yung mga challenges natin sa implementation, sa rollout ng 5G? And is dito considering the use of open RAN, open radio access network, para mapabilis yung rollout ng 5G?
Other than, baguhin ko, baka mas magandang gawing positive eh. Yung COVID, although meron siyang negative impact dahil naapektuhan yung mga vendors namin in terms of expertise in the rollout and imported resources that is required to build our network. Other than that, because of government support, no, nagkaroon ng bayanihan law that allowed us to process the permitting faster. Iyon yung positive ng COVID. The negative lang talaga is nung una, nakita nyo naman, total lockdown, at kahit gusto naming magtrabaho, hindi pwede magtrabaho kasi every area may kanya-kanyang protocol, and we need to comply with those protocols. Pero because nga of the government support, hindi lang naman sa dito yon. Kami lang yung nag-take advantage talaga. Dahil lahat naman pwedeng bilisan yung permitting. No? From more than 28 permits, the government only required two permits to start the construction. Yun yung nagpabilis. No? And 3 months after, nung lumuwag na, bumalik na, nabuksan na yung mga cement factory, nabuksan na yung gumagawa ng mga bakal. Immediately, nagkaroon kami ng ramp up, and that's why 6 months lang yung effect sa amin, but eventually we were able to go back and get back to the original timetable namin to complete the build of our network to meet our annual audit requirements. So that's one. Kanina sabi ko, innovation. Isipin mo yon na in 1 year, you're going to build a 4G network that is ready for 5G. Remember, we're the first in Southeast Asia to plan and implement a 5G standalone network. We're the first. And the infrastructure required for a 5G network is different from the legacy systems. And kung hindi kami mag-i-innovate at pupunta kami doon sa mga traditional natin ng mga data center, we cannot complete the rollout enough for us to be able to deliver our requirements. And we opted for a containerized parang ano tawag doon? Assembly line system na naka-containerize na pagdating salpak yung lahat, andar agad siya. So that became one of the strategies that allowed us to do the 5G network very fast. And in fact, because of this, we were awarded honorable mention. So number 2 out of 200 entities, out of 200 entities, meaning telcos of different countries that implemented a 5G network. We were number 2 in terms of innovation because of our use of our containerized approach to rolling out the data centers required for a 5G network. Now, that's number 1. And the other innovation is the very high automation of our system because of digitalization and really the maturity of several telcos that have undergone digitalization. And of course, our partner, China Telecom. China Telecom is a global telco. It's in more than 100 countries. And all of the experiences they put into dito and really became the basis for the development. Again, this is the first time that from zero, from ground level, we built our IT system, ground level up, with a very high automation. So automated, including the resource, yung mga equipment ng network namin, automated yan. Kita ng buong network namin yan. Kahit kaliit-liitan na element ng aming network. Siguro I am very proud to say na late nga kami, pero in terms of, siguro, you know, no? The business support system, the operation support system, and the management support system required for a telco, from the very start, integrated ito dito. Integrated ito. And our competitors are still, until today, struggling to integrate all of their systems. Kami, from the very start, integrated na siya kagad. And because of these several innovations, nandito tayo ngayon. We probably, sabi ko nga kay Dutch, kasi we are very proud of our network operations center. We can invite, if you want, we can invite you and demonstrate the automation, the level of automation of our system. That's it. Without these innovations, in fact, awarded din ang dito on the IT network and IT platform innovation. We were awarded last year, late last year, December last year.
Follow-up
I'll
answer.
add something there.
Oh, sorry.
Baba.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go, sir.
Just very briefly, I think the question is a good one. You're talking about how can we implement 5G more broadly, and it speaks beyond us here in Dito. I think there are just some two things, and Jen Boy, you might want to talk about it a little bit more. I think if we go up and we start talking about industry, there must be some industry reform so that we can actually have for all networks to make 5G more viable. I think one, we have to start talking in the long run about spectrum refarming, because if you look at Smart and Globe and you compare how many frequencies we have it's really asymmetrical, right? And if you want real competition, you're going to have a more symmetrical assignment of frequencies. That's at a higher level. Sorry, hinahalo ko sa conversation because we came here not just...
It's a regulatory challenge.
It's a challenge for us, and it's really not just for Dito. We really want to reform the industry. So that's one conversation that has to be had. And then also number two, I think also on the regulatory front, we do have to take a look at how the cost of using 5G. I think even on that, there may be a need for us to look on how to lower the cost so that you make it more accessible. Kasi ngayon mahal eh, di ba? Even the phones itself. So I think how to make that more affordable. There's a commercial element to that, but there are also industry level reforms that we have to do to make the systems viable. Just wanted to add to that, Bob.
Tama, sir. Related, sir, dun sa implementation ng 5G, the countries our neighbors in the ASEAN, they're piloting tests on Open Run. Open Run, yeah. And sir, so are we considering to pilot the same technology or open standard in the Philippines?
From the very start, with the design of our system, is ready for Open Run. So we can integrate Open Run later. When we planned our rollout, we already have discussed with partners on the use of Open Run equipment. But the technology, particularly the supply side of Open Run, was not mature when we started planning our system. No? So even if we want to, hindi pwede. 2 years, 3 years ago when we did our planning, hindi pa mature yung vendor side ng Open Run. But rest assured that we support Open Run, and our system can integrate the Open Run equipment.
Tama, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Especially now, you said you were employee number 1. How many are we in Dito now, and where do we plan to take it for this year?
Okay. So we started from
7.
7. Last year we were about 100, 900. This year we'll get to 2,000. So these are just employees who are organic to Dito. I wanted, actually, thank you for this question, Dutch, because I do want to weave in this part of the Dito narrative, this part of the story, that we are a startup that launched itself during COVID. So during COVID, we gave jobs, right? Sa amin lang, to 1,000 people. This is 1,000 families that we provided jobs to. Now you add to that the 83,000 touch points. Those are individual people selling our products. That's another 83,000 jobs and 83,000 families. So the multiplier effect, I think Eve and Jen Boy, maybe a few years from now, we should take a look back and see the effect that Dito did have on the economy when it really needed it at that time. We have invested over 200 billion pesos in the past 2 years of operations during the time when most companies were folding, right? It's not to pat myself on the back or pat ourselves on the back, but to show you that dito, kung sa Pilipino, sumugal tayo, nag-invest tayo during the hard times, And so hopefully, because of that, people have benefited, and God willing, the results will really come back. So the question was, it was an HR question, ilan ba tao will we employ at Dito? Yes, 2,000, all right. But I think the multiplier effect on that with our retailers, with the people who make our signs, with the hotel industry, when we start coming back and hosting more events like this, the multiplier is really big. And I'm proud of that, to be very honest, that during the hard times, we did our little bit to help this economy.
Okay, so one last question from the panel. For the group here. So everyone's busy already. Yes, Aika. Oy, iniiwasan ko Aika. Aika from Rappler, sir.
Sorry. Hello. Hi, I'm Ivory from Rappler. Hello, sir. Nice meeting you. For the first time. Anyway, sir, I just want to ask, since Sir Jenboy earlier mentioned something about the third audit, so I just want to ask, where are you right now when it comes to reaching your targets for the third audit in
Okay.
July? Thank you.
Sabi ko kanina, we're less than 300 towers away from the 70. We're now more than 65%. We're now more than 65% population coverage right now. Probably 5 to 67% population coverage. So we just need. Sabi ko nga, the last time that we met, we need during our simulation, we need between 4,600 to 4,800 towers. But kasi mas gusto ko yung level of confidence namin is very high. That's why we are targeting the higher figure. So that's it. We're less than 300 away, towers away from being able to achieve the 70% population coverage.
I mean download speed. The download speed.
The download speed, no question. Kasi the download speed is an average aggregation of 4G and 5G network, including the broadband. If you will look at the up to nung system natin, sabi ni Evelyn kanina, up to 500 Mbps. If you do the math, it's easy to achieve the 55 Mbps minimum average broadband speed if we combine our 4G and 5G networks. Pag tinignan mo yung last audit namin, di ba? Last July of 2021. If I'm mistaken, parang nasa 800
yung pinaka-top.
para nasa 800 Mbps yung 5G namin eh. Easy. As I've said, I'm very confident that we can achieve the 55 Mbps easily.
Can I just add a quick something? I hope you don't mind though. And I think we should bear in mind, we are the only ones who have these requirements. Part and Globe, they're not required to have minimum speed. They're not required to have a certain coverage. They're not required to have an amount that they have to invest. So truly, we are in a different position. Other people would say, parang malas mo naman, bakit ganun kayo, mas mahirap. But we actually turn it on its head and we look at it and we say that it's a challenge to us and it also helps us in our nation building. Just wanted to add that.
Yeah.